What's going on, and welcome back. So, a little while ago, let's say back in 1999, Def Leppard played a show called VH1 Storytellers. After that show was over, the guitarists Phil Collins and Vivian Campbell signed 16 of these Marshall cabinets that they use on the show and sold them for charity. Around that time, I happened to be on Musician's Friend's website, and I saw that they were selling these for $250 a piece. And I thought, you know what? Then, I mean, I still am, but back then I was a huge fan of Def Leppard. And I thought that'd be pretty neat, to own this, knowing that, they used it on the show. And obviously I watched the show when it came out. When it came in, I got this and I put it in storage. And it sat in my storage for 24 years. And I completely forgot about it. So, a couple of weeks ago, me and my buddy were in my storage. We were taking apart a Arcade 1-Up cab. And he noticed this in the corner of the storage laying down. He's like, dude, you have a Marshall cabinet? I was like, yeah. I showed him. It was all dusty. It was all dirty. And I go, it's signed by Phil Collins and Vivian Campbell. He's like, no way. I was like, yeah. Told him the story or whatever. We left it at that. Okay. The next day, I decided to look this up to see if anybody else had one. So I looked all over. I found one, and only one, on eBay. The seller was from Reverb, a very well known and trusted online music store out of Chicago, Illinois. They specialize in new and used equipment as well as vintage gear, whatever. They had one for sale. And there's their toe legs on the side of their cabinet was torn. Toe legs is this black covering that's on cabinets and on guitar amplifiers. They had a big tear on the side of it, and they were selling that cab for $8,000. And I was like, I saw this, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You have got to be freaking kidding me. $8,000? Immediately, I went back to my storage. I took this one out and I cleaned it up. I sent them a picture and I said, look, I got one as well. They sent me a message back. They responded and they told me that what I had was a very rare item because it was owned and used by Def Leppard. Really? Can you hear that? Dude, the dude's got the loudest truck. And he doesn't even live across the street. He's visiting. I'm gonna let him take off and we'll continue from there. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so they were like, you own a very rare item. The reason is because these were used and owned by Phil Collins and Vivian Campbell, and they were used on the show. And only 16 of these were signed and sold for charity. Now, I'm thinking $8,000. That's all I heard. I was like, $8,000 that they're selling theirs for, and it's torn. Besides, I don't know if you can see this. I have a little nick right here and a little nick right here. Other than that, this thing's in mint condition. And if that one they're selling is for $8,000, this has, I'm just guessing, estimating in this condition, and this is what everybody's told me, this has to be worth at least 10 grand. And I'm not just saying that just to add, make the value go up. That's what everybody's telling me, that if that one's 8,000, this has to be at least 10 grand because of the conditions that it's in. So a lot of questions were asked after this was discovered. Some questions were asked. But before we get to that, you got to realize that what's sitting right here is a piece of musical history. Pour Some Sugar on Me was played through these speakers. Hysteria was played through these speakers. Rock of Ages were played through these speakers. And I didn't think about it at the time, but now that I'm thinking about it, man, it just blows my mind to know that. So questions were asked, and they were like, what are you going to do with this? Would you ever sell it? Yes! Absolutely! Yes, absolutely. But who is this for? Who's this for? This would have to be, I'm saying, like, a huge fan of the bands, a huge fan of Def Leppard, someone who would want to own a very rare piece, and that was owned and used by them, and obviously somebody that's loaded, someone that's rich, because $10,000, it's a lot of money, right? But we got to think about this for a second. Only 16 of these exist. At the time, only 16 of these existed. When I looked a couple of weeks ago, I didn't find nobody that had them. Nobody. So out of those 16, there may be less. There may be less than 16. Think about it. Whoever else bought the other ones, well, I say other 14 because Reverb has one. I got one. Whoever bought the other 14 or whatever, scattered throughout the United States, or they may not even be all here in the United States, right? You got to think that some might be damaged, some might have got destroyed. God forbid there was a house fire, and one of the kind of burned down, flooded. Somebody's house could have got flooded or whatever, and they just got thrown out or whatever, So as far this, we got to think that there's probably less than 16 of these that exist in the world right now. Less than 16 of these cabinets that were owned and used and signed by Vivian Camo and Phil Collin. So I couldn't believe it when I saw that listing, and I got in contact with Reverb. I couldn't believe what I had just sitting in my storage, gathering space, gathering dust. It could be space dust, I don't know, but yes, I took it out, I brought it inside, I cleaned it up. As of the making, or after the filming of this video, I talked to a family member, close family member, and I'm taking this out. This is not staying in this house. It's going to get taken and put away for safekeeping, because, dude, this is a lot of money just sitting here. A very rare piece that's worth a lot of money just sitting here, and I can't have that. I need to have it put up somewhere safe that I know it's going to be, not damaged for sure. But I just wanted to come on here and share that story with you. And hey man, maybe somebody will see this video that's a collector of rare items, and you never know, I may get offered something for this. May happen, may not happen. But anyways, there you have it. A piece of musical history owned by, it's a piece of musical history, but also a awesome, speaker cabinet that was owned and used by Def Leppard. And I'll leave a link in the description to VH1 Storytellers if you're curious on watching that show. You'll see these in the background. These are the ones that are on the show. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.